Facing the 1935 calendar year, the Poetry Society found itself, as Josephine Pinckney once put it, in the best poetic tradition, indigent. While that might look grim for the group's future, it was also true that well-known poets on the lecture circuit were becoming desperate. Immediately before the stock market crash, Josephine Pinckney was in negotiations to secure Edna St. Vincent Millay to read for the Society. The group had wanted her to read since she won the Pulitzer Prize in 1923, but never found the right time or the right price. After prolonged haggling with Millay's manager in 1929, his lowest proffered price was $700, which is the equivalent of $10,770 in 2021 currency. This was entirely out of reach of the Poetry Society, considering that they normally paid $150 for a major lecturer. Pinckney's reply was terse. "I would say that this price is quite beyond our range, and in our opinion, it is excessive. We are unable to consider the matter further." Now, 4 years later, in the darkest year of the Depression, Millay was ready to make concessions, and so was the Society. She would read for the PSSC as part of an exhausting 6-week tour that would bring her as far west as Oklahoma and Texas. For the first time, the Society arranged to host a ticketed poetry reading open to all white members of the general public. On the 1st of December, a Saturday, the Society welcomed Edna St. Vincent Millay to the stage of the Academy of Music, a theater that stood at the northwest corner of King and Market Streets. Members of the Society could exchange the normal meeting cards they received in the mail for tickets. Members of the public paid $1 for adults and 75 cents for students. Millay was stunning. Wearing a green velvet gown and black cape, she enthralled her audience with a true poetry reading rather than a lecture about poetry. She read poems primarily from her new book, Wine from These Grapes. The audience applauded after each poem. One person who had observed the crowd filing out after the reading noted that it looked like the happiest group of people she had ever seen leaving a theater. While in town, Millay and her husband, Eugene Boissevin, stayed here at 58 Church Street with Mr. and Mrs. Owen Johnson, snowbirds from Stockbridge, Massachusetts, who were wintering in Charleston. They were not members of the Poetry Society. Owen Johnson was a successful writer who is best known for his 5 Lawrenceville novels, featuring the character Dink Stover. On the morning following the reading, Millay and Boissevin had time to take in the local attractions before catching their 4 o'clock train for the next engagement in Summit, New Jersey. Their tour guide was Sara Simons Hastie, who owned and ran Magnolia Gardens together with her husband. She took the couple there for a tour. It seems that the local attractions during that outing were not all botanical. Years later, when Hastie recounted the events of the day to a Poetry Society member, she said, "It was the only time in my life that I was propositioned by both the husband and the wife on the same day."